Welcome back to the Coffee and Carving Show.
Yes.
I'm your host, Doug Linker, and my special guest with the fancy hairdo today is young Alec Lacasse. Welcome back to the show, Alec.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Doug. I really appreciate it.
Hey, not a problem. So,
how you doing?
Thanks for taking the time out of your day to join us, and yeah, it's always good to see a different face on the show. So.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you.
For those who don't know, Alec is a very young and talented wood carver. You'll know him from many articles in Wood Carving Illustrated, as well as we're looking forward to a future book from him, published by Fox Chapel Publishing, and a renowned
all right
in his field.
Enough.
So thanks for coming on the show today.
Yes, yeah, you're better at that than I am. I should have said all those things about you. So no, but for real, man, this has been a ridiculous amount of effort to start a podcast. The internet has been going in and out, but it seems to be working. No? Cutting out?
It reminds me of old days, old times.
Yeah, hey? It does. It's been just the worst, but I'm in my parents' living room now. That's how bad our internet situation is back home. So, but it's no better here is the problem.
Yeah. Like I was telling Alec earlier before we started the show, like all I'm getting for a picture on his end is this pixelated hairdo with maybe a little bump for headphones. So I mean, it's probably better than the real thing. So I'm not going to complain too much.
But I'm like, what is that video game? The Big Pixels. I don't know. It's like that. I forget the name. Minecraft. It's Minecraft, Alec.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Yeah.
What have you been doing, man? What have you been up to lately?
What have I been doing? Oh, I don't know. I don't even know when the last time we discussed what we've been up to.
So
it's been a while, but I've been continuing with. Go ahead.
Oh no! When we last talked, you had just moved to the basement, right?
Okay. Yep. Had I started the 1x1 series?
Yes, I think so.
Is he there?
I think so. Yeah.
There's such a delay.
It is. Yeah, it's rough. But yeah, you had started it.
Can we keep going? Okay, all right. Well, anyway, I've continued it and done. I don't know. Probably the first one was the hillbilly. Then I did the beaver and the raccoon. I think we saw these already.
Yes.
Perhaps. And then the funny. My last video last week was. It's so funny because I've been working on my Jeep, getting it all set up for camping, and I did a little test camp out in my bush with the Jeep, my new setup to sleep in the Jeep and have a little camp. And I was so excited about that video. And again, not that it really matters, but I got more views on this video about cutting up one big piece of wood into a little piece of wood than I did on my whole Jeep camp out.
Yep.
So
that's the way it goes.
Last week I took a big block of basswood, and I just cut it into little 1x1 by 2.
How long do you think it'll take you to get through that project, or that pile of wood?
Oh, I don't know. It'll be a day or two. The problem is, I told the guys too. I said, "Don't get ahead of me. Don't cut your own 2-inch pieces because I'm going to be doing 2.5 high, 3-inch high." Right. I just wanted for video sake, I wanted to see how much an actual 1x1 by 2-inch piece of wood cost when my initial piece of wood that I had bought was $37.50, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And at the end result of cutting up that big block of wood, and it wasn't that big. I say big block, but it was probably only similar to this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
and I cut up that block of wood, and I got 252 1 by 2 inch pieces. And
Yeah.
so did the math and whatever, and it came out to like well, for you American, it was like 11 cents a piece. So when you want to buy a piece of wood that for $37.50, you say, well, that's a lot of money for a piece of wood. End of the day, with the 1 by 2 carvings, they're 11 cents American a piece. It's just ridiculous.
So cool. It's
But my
funny.
story was,
Oh, go ahead.
it's
Sorry.
just so funny that. Go ahead. I was
I was
just saying,
gonna say,
it was just so funny to me that you put in the effort to go camping, sleep overnight in the bush, have a fire, do all these things, or get 10,000 more views taking a big piece of wood and cutting it into a little piece of wood.
yeah. That's so true.
So,
That is absolutely though how YouTube works, isn't it? It's like you make a video, you think it's going to be great, and before you know it, it's a flop, and then the video you post the next day that you think was just a throwaway one was great.
my most popular video took me about 20 minutes in my backyard. I had a picnic table in my backyard, and it's got like 2.5 million views or something.
Oh, that's crazy.
And the
man.
ones that you just your passion projects, the ones that you really feel like you just this is I just loved it. Yep. This is the best video ever. And yes. This is so great, and they always bomb.
Yeah,
they just bomb.
Yeah,
but it doesn't even matter, right? At the end of the day, it all equals out. It doesn't really matter.
It was like that
before, but it's nice to. It's nice to get a win once in a while, right?
Yeah. So. And it actually feels good if you can be positive about it. It feels good to have one do well that you didn't really put all that much into. That's a good feeling. So
yeah.
But it reminds me.
At the same time, you can't let that
Go
ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say
you can't let that govern your next video.
Right. We're talking all over. You got mosquitoes in there.
What? I know there's something in here, but
yeah.
No, there's a lag here, and we're not synced up very good. But anyway, we'll make the most of it.
Yeah.
But again, this week I took the 1x1 series and I turned them into blade covers.
Those are way too cool.
So
let me see that.
They're really fun little things, and
those are so cute.
So all it is they're leather inside, right?
Really?
And you just slide your knife in. Yeah.
Those are fancy.
So. And they make little puppet sticks too. So hey, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing?
That is so cool. The first time I ever saw that was from Roger Bean. He had an article in Wood Carving Illustrated. He was on the cover of it, and he did these really cool ones. But I don't think I've seen them since. I don't think I've. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago.
You say Wood Carving Illustrated. I kind of let them know because they sponsor some of my videos. So I told them what I had planned, and they said, "Oh, that's excellent," because it's in conjunction, because they're starting a contest to carve your own blade covers.
Huh.
So that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
That we're both along the same lines.
Yeah, that worked out.
The first one I ever had, probably years ago at Helvey Knives booth at a wood carving show, I bought this one, which was just looks like it's maple. And a little walnut cap or something, and that was the first one I ever saw. So that's where I got the idea of the leather inside. But I thought it'd be fun to use that 1x1 series projects and make the blade covers. But
those are so much cooler.
If I was making these, I think I would just set up a router table and then just mass produce them, because you can see these are just run through, and then they just cut them to length and then put a little cap on the end, right?
Right.
So if you had a router table, you could just mass produce the strips to glue together, whereas these are just one-offs, right? But yeah, so
that's cool.
What What have you been up to?
Today have been, well, the last 2 days, I'm working on one project that is, I'm trying to stretch into two places. I'm making a video for the school with it. And then in between video takes, I'm snapping a photo of each kind of step and progression for the book. And Kaylee and I from Fox Chapel were talking, and she liked the idea of doing a female face. I gave her like two or three options of what to look forward, what to look at for the main project, and she liked the female, and so I've just been working on that female carving for the last couple of days, and it's like kind of floral with leaves coming down, and then it's just kind of a pretty younger female face kind of nestled in there, and it's a birch log. So
Yeah, yeah, it's a birch log. I have I think that's the relative
yep.
here.
Oh, that's in birch. Is that a grandpa?
That's the same birch log because I got that from you.
You did something with it. That was fast. I did not know that.
So this is her grandpa.
Super cool. It is her grandpa.
Because when I was at your place, it was her grandpa. Because when I was at your place, you gave me a birch log. And
that is a great carving.
The same logs, right?
Yeah, that's a great carving, Doug. I like that a lot.
Thanks. But it's not a female, and I'm so glad that you're doing a female because they're so hard.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your the book. So you're doing a female carving. While you're doing your female carving, are you explaining? Do you have to? I don't want to give away the book, but
no. Go ahead.
Obviously, you're carving a female. So are you explaining why a female, like the differences in the female to a male?
Yep. Totally.
Or are you just carving a woman and saying thinner this because she's a female, or thinner?
Yeah.
No,
it
features and
right
forehead and everything.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to do in both the school lesson, the video, and in the book. I'm gonna probably wax more with the book because that's the point of a book, is explaining stuff. But the idea is, I try to go, talk about the differences, because that helped me. I mean, this stuff I'm still kind of, as I'm doing this, I'm always learning, and it feels like having the one-to-one comparison is pretty helpful. Just being able to directly compare the female to the male. Like a lot of the differences, like for instance, just a couple off the top of my head, you mentioned the forehead. Men tend to have a little bit, you can even see in the light, there's a little bit more of a bump here. If I turn sideways, you can see this bump on my forehead, the protrusion of the brow ridge. I can see it on your forehead. Women tend to have a flatter forehead. Men have a more pronounced. Yeah. You have those. Yep. That man brow. And then another really good one. Another really good one is the angle of the position of the eye bone and the eyes themselves. Men, if you look at your eyebrow, you have a T. Your nose in relationship to your brow ridge is a T shape. Right across your brows go. Mm-hmm. Whereas a female, she's going to have a lifted brow structure. So this little divot in here is going to be higher up, right? And then the eyebrows and the brow ridge follow, and that's what gives that like cat eye, feminine look. So even just those two things alone will make someone look a lot more feminine.
Yep. People always think that I'm angry because I believe it's because my eyes are set back deeper, so I can really give a good scowl, Yeah. But the women don't really have the deep set eyeballs either, right?
That's a good one too. Yeah. They don't have the deep set eyes. The eyes actually are closer to the surface. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So the eyelids are closer to that brow.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's But anyway, good for you for doing that, because
Thanks.
it's so funny, because the carving women is such a rarity to do it well.
Hmm.
Everybody tries it, and even some of the greats try them,
Hmm.
and they look terrible.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it's so funny. Jack Price, the king of the miniature carving world,
Oh yeah.
he has a little article in one of his older books, and he says, "You won't see very many women because all my women tend to look like butchy men." And I was like, well, that just
Yes.
gave me.
Yeah.
And he, like I said, he's a hero of mine. I
Yep.
look up to him, and it's just great that he would admit too
Hmm.
that women are just harder to carve.
Yeah.
So good for you.
Thanks. It's funny because the
But you've
picture.
nailed them anyway. All
Well,
your
thanks. Thank you. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I appreciate it.
I
I definitely don't feel like I always nail them, but I did a carving of a woman. This friend of mine wrote a poem, and in the poem she talked about this woman of the woods, and she wanted me to make a carving based on her poem. And so I found a girl. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but I found an article about a woman who got lost in the woods and survived for months on end, eating berries and mushrooms. And she looked, I mean, she was actually a very pretty girl, but she looked all sunken in. And that was the carving that, or the picture that I based this poem off of. Because I figured, this woman of the woods is not going to have a full done
okay.
up face of makeup. So I sent this as the idea to Kaylee from Fox Chapel, and I said, I like this idea of the carving, but I'll simplify it and we'll make it more approachable. And she responded. I totally didn't even mention the fact, I forgot, about the story about the woman's face. And she was like, yes, maybe we can make her a little bit,
Yeah.
prettier up a little. Essentially, she didn't say that, but alluded to that, like more feminine. It's like,
With that story that you say, who is it? You imagine a woman from the woods. Is it? I'm going to get my stories confused. Is it
yeah,
Gandalf that has a wizard
yeah.
brother or friend who has the bird's nest in his hair
Oh, yeah.
and stuff like that?
Yes. That
Can
was
you
the
imagine that
idea.
as the woman?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. I wish I could
that would be
show you what she.
hilarious.
Yes. Maybe I can pull it up. Hold on.
At least she doesn't have bird. She doesn't have bird crap or anything in her hair or nothing. So.
I should have put some bird crap in her hair. I regret not doing that. But
That said, I don't have any close, but I always wanted to. I want to do wood spirit with like a comfort drill in like a comfort bird sticking out of the hair somewhere or something.
yep.
I always like that idea, putting little birds in the hair and stuff.
Oh, so separately insert them in.
Just insert a little bird
Yeah.
into the hair, like drill a hole, but then
Right.
carve the hair around it, and then just
Yep.
stick the little birds in there or something like they're poking out of the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was what she wanted. She wrote about it and she had an idea of kind of what she wanted. So this was the lady. She's not as homely. I carved her to look a little bit less homely, but this was the little bird, an owl. And then you probably can't see Jack right now, but that's her face.
I can't lie. It's a very pixelated
Yeah.
face, but no, she's no. I can see.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good. I like that. That's very nice.
So, but this girl is going to be
And
a
the
little,
flowers really feminize it too.
that helps a little. Yeah. But this one's going to be a little bit more, feminine, I guess. So it's what they want, which makes a lot of sense.
Well, I came to. I don't know time worth of anything, but I remember I did a woman at your place with you the one time,
Mm-hmm.
and I always joke that I have my own Annalise.
Yeah. All of them end up looking like her to some extent. It's so true.
A lot of the female carvings, it has your wife's lips at least, eh?
Oh yeah. Yes. Well, that's what happens, man. I was
A
hanging out with
little.
this. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, no,
Well,
no. Go ahead. I was just gonna say they all have a little kind of a little ethnic twist, like a
yeah.
real nice Mediterranean look or something. Right?
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. I don't know. I remember there's this really popular carver who always does these like 10 out of 10 knockout blonde kind of or like white, Russian women. And I remember this friend of mine who I was staying with, who's an amazing, amazing carver. She was saying, why doesn't that guy ever carve like a normal looking woman? Like they're always like crazy model, perfect noses and everything. So that kind of stuck with me. I heard that when I was 19 or 20, and I never lost that.
That's funny because I was doing research for a bark carving. I'm going to pop up a picture here.
Yeah.
And, Pinterest is such a wonderful
So good.
resource. I was looking for future carving ideas.
Oh, that's
And I came up
cool.
with, I found, wouldn't
That would
that
make
be
a cool
great?
knife
And I
cover.
found, so, and just like you teach too, like take an idea, but take like 3 pictures and put them together. So I found
Mhm.
another guy that had like 6 rolls, chin rolls. And I thought that's a perfect. Call him the fat man, bald head,
Mhm.
and then like 6 big chin rolls. And because guys don't care if they're pretty, it's just a
Right.
cool
No,
carving, right?
it's great.
So
That's another point that she made was that she was saying like, and you also don't ever see fat people. It's always really thin. You don't see people being carved that are in modern carvings very often. That are overweight.
yeah, no, that's true. That's very true.
So that's cool. You're on that path.
But yeah, it's well, just crazy ideas because how many wood spirits can I do within the same
Right.
vein, right?
Yep.
Like, of course, it's still my favorite thing in the world to carve, without
Same.
question. But
Same.
yeah, try to mix it up once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Right.
have all these ideas of like when the spring peepers are out chirping, I want to carve like a frog man with a tie.
Mm.
But then when I get to the bark again, I'm like, what spirit? It's like,
Right.
so
Same.
anyway,
Same
yeah.
here.
Uh, Speaking of, well, I can tell you something else too
Yeah.
from your bad influence, and recently your bad influence, which also is shared by one Lucas Cost. But you got me into the two of you combined. Got me into the Work Sharp
Yeah.
3000 world.
Yeah. Yep. How do you like
So
that thing?
I have pride in my. Oh my goodness. Well, let me give you the backstory first. The backstory is I have only power stropped for 6 years, 5 years, and I kept doing it just because there was this one cranky old woodcarver who publicly stated it on a internet thing one time that if your tools have never seen a stone, then you're not carving. And I'm like, well, I'll show you. And I've kept, to be fair, I've kept my tools sharp, nice and sharp on the power strap for all these years. But you can't fix tools.
Huh.
Like if you get a chip or something, you can't fix them by stropping. That's just a fact, right? And my power strap, I can change the sandpaper on those belts, but
Right.
I've had terrible luck with burning them too quickly. Like
Hmm.
it's not slow enough. It's too fast,
Mm.
and I tend to really burn things. And I've actually ruined a couple tools trying it that way.
Mm.
So I picked that up, and lo and behold, between you and Lucas and watching you guys, I want to. Well, we already did this, but I was going to FaceTime the other day. I was going to go pew 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 because my tools are laser beams now. it's it's crazy. It's actually crazy. So the problem when you strop for years on end is you tend to start to round them a little bit. You kind of change the angle and rounding it. So I took And honestly, it only took me a couple hours to do all these tools on a proper angle, basically getting right back to the factory angle, factory edge, and they're all just laser sharp.
Mm.
Amazing,
Mm.
amazing tool. I love that. I have a couple of critiques of it, but overall, it's great.
Wait,
Like
I want to hear your critique because I want to know if it's like mine.
my critique is, as a wood carver, with now I have five different ways of power sharpening or stropping. That could easily be my go-to one and only tool if it could change direction and I could
Mm.
do my knives on it.
Exactly.
I could easily do my all. Like, what kind of a tool can you not reverse to do the other way? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I can, even if I can get, it also has a, well, here, I'll bring it over. People might be interested in this.
Mm-hmm.
I can get a knife, but there's a little edge on here,
Mm-hmm.
and I cannot get it hits, so I can't get
Ah.
the blade close enough. So I bet you I could cut that off. To be fair, it's just plastic
Mm-hmm.
to get closer to the wheel
Right.
in an area, but I can go one way, but I cannot go the other way, or I'm cutting into it.
Yep.
If I try to go long ways, I can try to go long ways, but that brings the sharpening up,
Yep.
like vertically with the blade instead of across the blade.
Yeah.
So it's a conundrum. If they had a reverse on there, I could live my life happily with one sharpening tool.
I know.
So that's my
Let me ask you this: what would you pay? What
mind
would you
you.
pay extra for it
What
if it had that feature? Because it's going to cost them.
I don't know that you would have to pay extra. I think it just should be part of it.
Right.
Let me show you. Talk about something for 1 second. I'm going to grab something else here.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say that that company has another product that's called the Ken Onion knife sharpener. And I wonder if because it's part of their ecosystem, if they just want to keep selling that other sharpener. I don't know if that's part of it, but I have that thing too, and it's pretty good. I would prefer to use the work sharp though, to your point. So to Doug's point, because I know he can't hear me, but
Okay. I have something else here. This is Tom's knife massager. This is another unit. And this is something I just keep. I don't keep in my workshop. I just have it. But this turns one way. Flick the switch, opposite way.
huh?
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
That shouldn't cost that much extra
No.
to have a reverse,
No. Is that as
right?
fast as it goes?
And here again,
Mm.
that's as fast as it goes. It's very slow, but if it's for just a knife, it's a nice little power strop for a knife.
Hmm.
And then I've got some diamond wheels here too.
Nice.
But that's all I want in that Worksharp 3000 is just the ability to reverse.
Yep.
Like I said, I can bust off that plastic ring if I had to,
Yeah.
but that could be your one and only sharpening tool
Yeah.
if it had the reverse feature. So
Yep.
that's my critique. But again, man, it just sharpened like crazy.
I know.
Beautiful tools now. Like everything is just like you're almost, they're sharp when you're almost afraid to touch them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Lucas did this two finger test where he would just kind of just hold the tool with two fingers and watch them dig into the wood. Like it's just the cat's meow is what it is.
Wow.
So that
He's using
fella
it.
who said you're not carving if you're not, maybe he's a little bit right, but I can't give it to him. Can't give it to him.
I know. It's like I hate when people are right. I hate when people are right.
Well, it was just such an obstinate comment at the time because I was like, well, I've been doing it for 5 years, so my tools were sharp.
Yeah. Right.
Now they're just like ridiculously sharp, right?
Yep.
So
Exactly.
anyway, enough
Yep.
about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's thanks to you, and I think Lucas sealed the deal because I did a video with you on that sharpener at your place.
Yeah.
And then I kind of put it on my mind, and then Lucas got one, and he did a video, and I was like, "Oh, that's the final straw." So
Yeah.
I'm glad I did it though. It's great,
Good.
and it is very portable too.
It
Very
is.
light little unit and portable. So
Yeah, I bring it with me
yeah.
to all of my demos and art shows, and
Well,
yeah.
I should say one more thing though is that on my gouges and whatnot, I still have a buffing wheel that I'll do the inside after
Right.
I sharpen the edge. And do you do the same? What do you do
Yep.
with the inside of your gouges?
Same thing. I just have a cotton wheel, and
Okay.
then I polish the inside. Yeah.
Yep, that's all I have.
Mhm.
Yep, just to
Yeah.
knock any burr that's folded
Yeah.
over or whatever. So
I love that cotton
yeah.
wheel. Yeah.
I have two. So I have one with I put compound on one, and one just a cleanup.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
So I have one with the yeah. Same
Yep.
same wheel, just one I keep dirty with compound, and one just the final cleanup,
Right.
which is not necessary. That's just if you want to see your teeth, pick your teeth with the
Right.
with the mirror. So.
No wonder your tools are so sharp.
So yeah,
I don't want mine to bust, so I don't use them as mirrors, really.
right. I understand. Let's talk about this. I just saw on the YouTubes that the Coffee Carving Show is going back to the Coffee Carving Show channel. Explain yourself, young man.
I want to talk to you about that because this has been controversial amongst my family. My wife she's not a big fan of the idea of it going back to the Coffee and Carving Show channel.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just thinking about it, and really I was listening to the Iced Coffee Hour. You ever listen to those guys? What is his name? Graham Stephan or something? There's a podcast called the Iced Coffee Hour, and it's really great. It's a finance. Okay. Yeah. It's a finance podcast. And I don't know if it was him or somebody talking about him saying that it's super beneficial to have both channels. He has two channels. I don't know what his other channel is, but one is dedicated to his podcast and he keeps that separate. And then one is dedicated to his, to his videos. And what I'm noticing is they're just so different. Like I have a 10-minute tip video or a 20-minute tip video, and then next to that I have like an hour and a half long interview. And part of me just felt like I think it's better suited to just keep it all, because not everyone wants to sit down for 2 hours and listen to an interview. So that's where I got the idea,
So
yeah, go ahead.
No, I can totally relate because I have been toying with the idea. Well, like when we started talking in the beginning, I was saying Jeep camping gets terrible views on my channel.
Huh.
But if it was the Doug Outside channel, it's expected. So in the beginning, my followers were all into camping and bushcraft and whatever. And then slowly I've converted it basically into a wood carving channel.
Mm-hmm.
And now, why am I surprised when I do a camping video that they don't get good views? Is because now it's a wood carving channel. I totally understand what you're saying. In fact, I even dabble with the idea myself of going back because I have the Doug Outside channel reserved.
You do.
And I was going to put outdoor videos. Yeah. So I was going to go back and put the outdoor videos and start over and keep it separate from the wood carving channel. And I've talked to a bunch of people, and then the last piece of advice kind of made sense to me. They're like, well, is it really hurting the wood carvers? They
right.
can, They can choose to watch it or not, and to go back and start over another channel when there's, to be fair, like the wood carving has a skill set that the camping does not. Then hence the 100,000 outdoor camping YouTube channels, right?
Yep.
So the advice was like, I don't think you should go and make another channel because you're going to do what you want to do anyway.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt anybody. They'll just wait for the next video, which is wood carving.
Yeah.
So that was my advice. So anyway, but as far as the coffee and carving show goes, I understand because it is a titled thing separate from your regular.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. No, and that's a good point. So I don't know. I don't know the answer.
How have you found the views from? Did the people come to your channel from the coffee and carving show originally? Did they follow over? Like
it took them 2 weeks, and then it's exactly equal. Everything, the metrics are equal on my personal and the podcast. So it wasn't about the views. It just felt like I was trying to get people to watch different stuff. But now I could have, if I talked to you a day earlier, you might have convinced me otherwise. So, sorry about that.
Yeah. So now you have to make a video saying, okay, coffee and carving show is moving from this. Don't you feel like a dope? This is, we should just call this podcast ADHD again, because this is what we do. We have an idea. We're impulsive. If we had thought about it for 2 more days, we may have had a different outcome, but we've already said it publicly, and now we're held to it, right?
Yeah, which is probably good.
And anything, it is good, but I know I do this all the time. There is a little bit extra impulsivity in us.
Yep.
That we want to say, okay, I've decided, okay, everything's dug outside from now on, and the camping is on this channel. And then 2 weeks later, I'll be like, I should have just kept it all together,
Like, do you feel that way about your 1x1 now? Are you itching to try something else just because you've committed to it? Is that a thing or no?
That's a fair question, because I am going to switch it up a little bit. But I've kind of hinted at that too, that this is going to be ongoing.
Right.
So I'm not afraid. Like, I believe maybe this weekend I'll do a larger face carving again, just to mix it up a little bit. Because if you're not into the 1x1 carving, well, I don't want to just give you that for a year, because then you're gone.
Right.
If you have no interest in the 1x1 carving. So if I mix it up and do some bark carving or some faces or whatever, then I'll still keep you interested. But personally, like, I've done a lot of extra carvings outside of these for future video ideas. And I'm ready for a break, for sure. I'm ready to jump on something big and just get these tools working.
Right.
Instead of just the little tiny little knife stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
no, good on you.
My wife always tells me, she says, as soon as you box yourself in,
right,
you are your own enemy, that you gotta fight your way out again. Like,
yep,
you always pigeonhole yourself, and then you want to say, well, I don't want to do that anymore. And then, just go off a different way because you've cornered yourself, right?
I think you have
I don't really
even
feel
more of
I've
that
said
than I do.
This could go on.
I think you have more of that than I do, because, and I think this is a hypothesis I just came up with. I think that's why you are so diverse in the type of carvings that you do. And I think it makes you creative, like really creative, because you're always doing completely different stuff,
Explain that. Completely different stuff than I normally would do, or than what other people do.
Well, if you just look at the theme of the carvings that you've done over the course of a few years, I mean, the list of projects would be just endless. That, you know, from this animal to that person to this made up character to this you know, whatever, veggie with the face, you know, like this living inanimate object, you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Like there's
yeah,
just such a
yeah,
range of
yeah,
stuff, and I wonder if part of that is your personality, you know?
yeah. It probably is. Yeah,
Right.
like I chopped all my hair off, but if you go back in the last 15 years and even looked at the photo albums, I've had such crazy. I've had mustaches, goatees, little half beards, little
Really?
midnight beards, big beards, small beards. Let's shave my head. Oh yeah, I'm always have to keep change. I like change. I guess that's what it
Yeah.
is.
That's a
So,
good quality, I think, to
and
have.
I can't stay in this. Well, I could disagree with that because it's
Yeah.
probably got me into more trouble than not just
Yeah.
staying the same. You know,
But I think it's what makes you how you are,
there
because
is.
people more than not fear, I think, fear change. I think that's how people are.
Yeah, but I don't know if you know. Do you know who Robert Service? He's a Yukon poet, and he has this poem. It's called "The Men Who Don't Fit In." And if
Mm,
it was, and one of the lines was like, if he could just stay in his groove, he could go so far. But he
mm,
can't. He's wanting to change and keep. So you never get far enough
mm-hmm.
on the path to complete. You know, you always jump and jump, 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 jump. So
Yeah.
I think it's there's good and bad in it for sure.
Yeah, that's probably why we're friends, because I always look up to your willingness to just try new stuff every, you know, of the drop of a hat. You know, you're doing something completely different and you're getting really good at it, and then you get bored and you do something else and you get really good at that. And I'm the opposite. I'm like comfort zone,
Well,
staying in this area.
yeah, I guess yeah, no, that's fair. The my wife makes fun of me too. Like I would start wearing some kind of a clothing or whatever. Like back in the day was when Fall Raven came out. I was the only one I knew that was wearing Fall Raven clothing from Sweden.
Yeah.
And then when it became popular, I refused to wear it. So
Right.
then I went to Savada or something, you know. And you always you want to be ahead of it, but when everyone's doing it, you don't want to do it anymore. And that's why I
Right.
don't even like to do the same as anybody else either.
Yeah.
I want to do my own thing.
Right.
But when it catches on, then I'm like, I don't want anything to do with it. So
Yeah.
I think that's a great flaw. That's a big
I don't
flaw.
know. I don't think
But
so.
yeah,
Agree to disagree.
but
Yeah.
well, like I said,
Yeah.
anything that if you can stick with anything, you'll become good. You'll be better. You'll be the best. You know, but I'll never be the best. You know, they say jack of all trades, master of none. But
But
who
better than a
cares?
master of one. Remember the ending?
Yes, exactly.
I
Yeah,
think
I
no.
know. We always forget
Yeah.
the ending, but the ending is just as important. Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
So
So
I have to force myself, and my friends, people, you, other people, you guys push me into trying different stuff, and I that's why I need, you know, people that are different, you know. So it's good.
well, it's you know, there's so many hobbies out there, but you take wood carving, but there is so many tangents and ways to go that are still untouched by us.
Right.
Like it's such a small niche,
Yep.
but so many options within it. Like it's endless. When I think of video ideas, like
Yeah.
I could go on like hundreds. You never have to worry about running out of ideas. There's
Hmm.
always something else. There's always
Hmm.
something different. There's always something out there, and nothing new, like things that have been done but you've never tried yet, right?
Right. So
So
true. It's true.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. But when you're narrow-minded and you like to stay in your comfort zone, you know, the struggle is you know, it feels like there are no other ideas available to you that would be good. And you're just kind of closed off to them. So, um,
but you're not, because you're getting to be the best you can be in that vein. And that's what I remember when we talked with the upper man, and I said, do you know anybody who could just stay in their lane? And he always referenced Chris Hammock. Chris Hammock is a
Oh,
fabulous wood carver,
yeah.
but he never veered. He always, and I was like,
Huh.
that's why he's the best, right?
Huh.
Right. So jumping around doesn't give you, it gives you diversity, but it doesn't give you the experience and the expertise to just excel in that area, right?
Yeah.
But
I.
again,
Mm-hmm.
I know I never will, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Just accept it. I
Well,
don't need to be the best. I don't care.
but there are people who have
Go ahead.
a version of your personality where they don't get good at the thing before they skip out. And that's where I would say, yeah, it's no longer healthy. You're just bowing out before you get stuff done. And yours is not like that. Yours is
I would.
you get into the top whatever percentile, and then you might get disinterested, but you still grow. You still push yourself. So I think that's
Well,
a good spot to
I
be in.
will take that as a compliment, but I don't quite believe it, because I
Oh, it's
do
for
believe,
sure true. It's for sure
like
true.
well, okay, I won't argue with you, but
Yeah. Well,
I always have
that's
this
great.
inferiority complex. So
Right. Yeah, everyone does.
yeah,
Yeah, it's but it's good to have people to remind you, about what you're doing, and what what you're doing is good. And I know for me, today I was carving, right, and my buddy comes over who's doing my video editing now. His name is Matt, and we talked together, for a while about what I was doing, and then I started filming again, and then he grabs his phone out and he goes to take a picture of what I'm working on, and I'm happy. I'm on cloud nine. My friend thinks I'm cool. He's taking a picture of me. He's probably going to put it on Instagram,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden it clicks in my head. I asked him to take a picture of me. I, I was
Oh,
like, my friends think I'm cool. This is great. And then I'm like, no, you
yeah.
dummy. You told him to take a picture of you. Uh,
I haven't. I'm probably a month off Instagram.
wow.
I it's been it's been really eye opening to see the time. I miss interacting with like minded people, but I really found it was such a distraction in my day that
Yeah.
it's it was hard to leave. Like I had a good following on Instagram,
Yeah.
like but the audience didn't translate to YouTube.
Yeah.
So when I would go on, every day I click on, I'd say, well, you have 48 messages, and they're all asking questions from the pictures that I post of questions that are answered in the videos. And it
Right.
was so hard to delete messages unanswered. But I'm like, I can't do both with my schedule. But yeah, so I miss interacting with some of the guys, but it's been very healthy. A healthy.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I did not delete my account. I just deactivated it for a time to take a time out, and
Right.
I've done this in the past, and it works out well. So
I think that's the
at some
ticket,
point,
though.
I'm gonna have to go back on, but
Uh,
it's been a nice
uh,
break.
Right. Is just to get away from it for a little bit. I think I have not done that.
Hmm.
And I think I need to just
Hmm.
like shut it off for a couple of weeks or a month or something. I hardly
Yeah,
ever post.
you really notice the difference when you
Yeah.
yeah. Or imagine just making something to post and then realizing, well, why? Why are you actually doing it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's it's a funny game, that's social media.
Yeah.
So
It is. It is. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're in a
yeah,
good spot with that. That's cool. That's got to feel good.
yeah, it's been good. Like I said, yeah, it's been very good. except for, like I said, I interact with basically nobody.
Right. Right.
So I'm in my own little YouTube world and making these little videos and giggling to myself and sending you pictures and stuff and laughing, but that's about it.
Yeah. That's one of
So,
the I made a video today talking about,
it's summer too, and
yeah.
Go ahead. No, you go.
Just saying that one of the things I wish I would have known when I started carving is wood carving is introverted. It's you're doing it alone, and you probably won't get good with other people around. You're going to be alone for a lot of time. And so, yeah, that was it.
Well, I've always said that because I don't even know any woodcarvers in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Like my whole province, I don't know any woodcarvers. You are the only woodcarver I've actually ever carved with.
Right.
Like, how ridiculous is that?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, they don't really get together
a
lot.
Wild.
Yeah. It kind of makes sense, though. Woodcarvers isolate.
But there's no carving clubs. There's no community carving. And you know what? The truth of the matter is I wouldn't have time for it anyway.
Right.
So.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of in the internet world space right now myself. And because I'm not doing any classes in person this year. I'm not really doing a lot of art shows. It's kind of different. I like it, but
yeah.
But yeah, I definitely miss the.
Are you doing any art fairs or art shows like for selling this year?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll be doing 2 art shows, but that's it. So. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you doing that one that's close to you?
Yeah, I should be. They were supposed to give me a booth space for a demo, but they haven't gotten back to me. So, but it's past the deadline. But they've always been good about letting me in. So I'll be there. I'm sure. Lord willing. But
okay. Yeah, I told my family I'd love to get them to all go together and go down there because that was a fun show.
Good. Yeah, isn't it? It's a pretty little park, and they have a good turnout. My neighbor's actually, she's gotten into the other one that I do, the Arts, Beats, and Eats, which is my biggest show, and she's just starting out as a potter, and so I told her about that show, and she got in, and she's excited because she's only literally been doing this for maybe a little over a year, and she's already good enough to get in to a great show. So Clayco nice. is her pottery studio name. So anyway, so
cool.
That'll be fun. We'll get to hang out.
Other than that, what have you been watching or listening to?
Oh, that's a good
throwback
question.
to the old days.
Yeah, cool. I like it. Podcast a little. You know who I've been really into? Have you ever gotten into Dave Ramsey?
Oh, big time. Not recently. Maybe 5 years ago.
Yep.
I just devoured every episode for probably about maybe a 6-month stretch there.
Right. Okay.
So
yeah,
you found the Dave Ramsey?
Yeah, and my mom and dad went through his course.
In fact,
yeah, go ahead.
Yep, I own the course. Yeah.
Do you?
No, I bought the CDs and everything, the book and everything. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Very, very practical, very smart.
Yep.
Teachings on the finance.
Yeah. So I just like his show.
Very, very hard to keep.
I know. Yes, I agree. It's good entertainment because it's forcing me to think about, that stuff. But I've tried it once before when I was a young adult, and I didn't do it for very long. So I'm hoping that I can stick to it.
I also listened to I used to listen to his podcast where the call-in show.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
I was always amazed. Okay, well, I was always amazed that I mean, some people are just so screwed with their finances, but other guys my age would say, "So I only have about $748,000 in my
Yes.
whatever plan, and my
Yeah.
house is paid for," and I'm like, "Holy crap! What did I do wrong?" I should have made my wife go to work at a professional job and not had any children. And like my whole life, I've had raising 5 kids with a stay-at-home wife, and I'm going just scraping by my whole life. And like
Yep.
this guy's complaining about only having $750,000 in his whatever your American plan is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Dave Ramsey talks about
it was
this
just
couple that drives into his studio or drives into to a meeting with him, and he said he knows that you're like a football player, and when he got there, the guy that his sweet little wife said, Dave, you're not going to be happy with us, and Dave's thinking, well, oh God, what'd you do? You blow the money or what? And he says, we have all of our money in our savings account. And he was like, okay, how much do you have in there? And he said, $36 million. And he's like, man, I'm not upset at you. I want to give you a hug because that's great. They were thinking he was going to chastise them for not having their money in a mutual fund and having it in savings. He's like, man, you already won. Most professional athletes piddle away, their millions. So anyway, it doesn't make you feel good.
yeah,
It's not a feel good show.
No.
Yeah.
No, no, I can't relate. But anyway, I'm happy, and I have a very easy retirement plan. Anyway, my retirement plan is to find myself a little cabin or a cottage about the size of a double-car garage,
Yep.
and whittle away until I die.
I love it.
That's my retirement plan.
That's mine, dude.
So
I love it. Yeah.
sit
I just
beside the
got.
wood stove or on the porch and become Grandpa the Whittler.
Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah. What about you?
So. What have I been listening to? You know what? It's been kind of funny. I've been spending more time in my own thoughts, whereas I used to really crowd my brain just to keep from thinking with podcasts and whatnot. But I rediscovered, and I probably said this on one of our old podcasts about the Besnard Lakes.
Yes.
It's a Canadian band, and it's just their last release was called the last, what is it, the great the last of the great thunderstorm warnings or something. It's a crazy name, but that album is like a Pink Floyd The Wall. It's like a like an experience, like you just listen to the whole thing through, and
Yeah.
I love it. I just love it. It's very underrated. Nobody pays a lot of attention to them, but between them and Manchester Orchestra, I don't listen to much else. So I've been listening to more music. I guess the point was more music than podcasts lately. That just make them. Well, I should go back. I'll start all over because I haven't been carrying. Remember my flip phone? One
Yeah.
year with the flip phone, so I never had access to anything. But I have recently gone back to an iPhone, but I don't carry it. And so I leave it either in my truck or on my desk or whatever at work. And then I pick it up and I just listen to an album and then I put it down again. So
Right.
it's been a really great experiment just to live within my thoughts and then treat myself to some music, but not constantly that I dull all the crazy thoughts out of my mind, and just have a little treat and listen to an album. So yeah, but in the last month we've lost Gordon Lightfoot,
I know.
and I went on a real Gordon Lightfoot tangent for
Mm-hmm.
a while,
Yep.
and that was very sad. And it was
Ugh.
really nice to listen to, go back and just give him a little little send off by listening to all of his my favorites anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. That was rough, man. I was really sad to hear that. I mean, he was old and not really that well from what I've heard, but
oh yeah, no, he lived a full life.
But it was sad. I was sad.
And then who was it last week?
Oh,
Tina Turner died
Tina
last
Turner.
week.
Yes.
And of course, I'm not a big fan of Tina Turner, but the day she died, I made my family sit down and listen to "You Better Be Good to Me" and watch the whatever the '80s version of the video of her singing it and little tribute. Oh, that was kind of fun. They thought it was weird, but it was good.
Yeah. Well, you are a little weird, but that's why we like you.
Oh, there's no question. Nobody's ever questioned that. So. But
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, you sent me a song and I listened to it and I was like, I have never listened to Tina Turner a day in my life. She's kind of cool though. Cool.
She is pretty cool. Yeah. Real good life story. I think there's a documentary out there on her life story because Ike and Tina Turner and marriage troubles and whatnot, and a really good story. So,
well, there you go. Well, I think we did it.
There you go.
I think we did it.
We did it.
This was fun.
We made another podcast.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for
catch up.
Yeah, I've looked forward to it. Thanks for doing it, man. Always I enjoy it. So.
Well, as long as the folks don't get sick of me, then I'll come back again sometime.
Thanks. I appreciate it. They always want it, so.
All right.
All right, man. I'll talk to you.
All right. See ya.
Take your vitamins, folks.